Is it fair, as great a game as he had, is it fair to lay that loss at the feet of Josh Allen?
I probably wouldn't. I think, you can certainly find some blame with Josh Allen, but I don't think he's the number one guy I'm blaming. Tyler Bass isn't the number one guy I'm blaming either.
Let me explain why. The whole point of that last drive was to drain the clock, right? That's why they allowed the clock to run down to the 2-minute warning.
The whole point should have been to score a touchdown and leave no time remaining on the clock.
Right, but it was, to me, that was the plan, to score a touchdown and leave Patrick Mahomes with 0.
Right, because 13 seconds is too much.
We've already been down that road.
Yes.
So with 2 guys open underneath on 2nd and 9 on the first play out of the 2-minute warning, knowing that at that particular moment, you could argue that a first down is more important than a touchdown, why didn't Josh accept the gift that he was given instead of throwing the ball into the end zone?
I think he had Khalil Shakir coming around open on the backside of the end zone.
Sort of.
He got pressured. Chris Jones got in his face. I think if I'm penning anything on that last drive, I'm sort of looking at the holistic approach that I think the Bills take. That's been maybe you can sort of point to it as maybe like a larger theme for what the Bills' issues are, which is they got that first down with 2:43 remaining.
Mm-hmm.
They had first and 10
at the 27,
2:43 at the Chiefs 27, and they scored 0 points.
Mm-hmm. But they missed.
That's a problem,
right? They missed that field goal, right?
I think what happened you play for. You get the ball that's first and 10 of the Chiefs 27, you're kicking a 44 or 46-yard field goal, whatever it was. That's a problem. And I think, but that points to coaching. I don't put that on Josh Allen. I point that on Sean McDermott and the way that they decided to, they're like, all right, let's not, basically they wanted to lay up while also it was like, all right, let's lay up short of the water and just give ourselves a nice 8-iron in. It's like, no. You have Josh Allen. Go score a touchdown.
Right.
You can't, even if you make the field goal with a minute 43
they were losing the game anyway. They were going to lose the game.
Right.
Which is why I get back to this. That's why I think the first down was more important than the touchdown. That if you pick up the first down right there and you've got a new set of downs. The Chiefs only had 2 timeouts because they wasted one on I think it was the previous possession. Right, on the bogus defensive pass interference call in Buffalo, which ultimately didn't hurt them. But if you pick up the first down, it only cost them time. It cost them 3 more downs, which I guess is significant, but maybe not. If you pick up the first down, if you throw it underneath to Diggs, of course, Stephon Diggs might have dropped it, but that's another story altogether. If you throw it underneath to Diggs, and you pick up the first down, now you're at about the 15, and Kansas City's got to call their timeouts, and you have the opportunity.
It's totally botched. But I think there's a chance that Josh Allen felt like his coaching staff was playing for the field goal, and he wanted to get a touchdown to try to win the game.
All right, so it's about a decision. But don't they speak? Isn't there a discussion?
That's my whole point. Is I think that right now that there's some. I think that you saw it this offseason. I think you saw it throughout the season, and there's that controversial stuff about during the bye week that came out from Ty Dunn, and they sort of it sort of rallied the troops, and they played great down the stretch, and then they made this run, and then you had the same spot, losing to Patrick Mahomes late in a great game on Sunday night on CBS. Time is a flat circle for the Buffalo Bills, and I just wonder how long they will keep doing this before they say we have this quarterback in Josh Allen who is Sean McDermott's done a great job of getting this team elevating the floor for this team and putting this team in a spot where they're competitive for, they're highly competitive year in and year out. But have they hit their ceiling under Sean McDermott? And is there a point in time where, didn't the Bulls have to go out and get Phil Jackson in order to beat the Pistons?
Are you calling Sean McDermott Doug Collins? Or
sort of, yeah.
Or are you calling Sean McDermott Dan Reeves, who had John Elway early in his career, and they needed Mike Shanahan to eventually win those two Super Bowls?
Maybe I'm calling Jim Harbaugh Phil Jackson. I'm serious. This coaching cycle, if you're the Buffalo Bills, now we've seen Gerard Mayo and Antonio Pierce hired by the Patriots and the Raiders respectively. Bill Belichick and Jim Harbaugh are still out there. There are a lot of good coaching candidates. A guy like Dan Quinn who's been to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying you fire Sean McDermott to go get Dan Quinn. But
I would not do that.
I think Dan Quinn's had more success in the postseason. I would fire Sean McDermott. I would move on from Sean McDermott to go get Jim Harbaugh and just win a Super Bowl with Josh Allen. I think that would happen within 3 years.
I would too. And Bill Belichick would be, I think, an interesting choice for Buffalo as well.
Belichick would love to work in the AFC East and destroy the Patriots multiple times per year.
And he would still get a chance to beat the Jets every year.
He would get to be the Jets with Josh Allen, Jets and Patriots with Josh Allen twice a year. I mean, you bring in, who was it who was rumored to have, they're talking about, I'm drawing a blank. There was somebody that was rumored to be like Belichick might hire him as OC. It's like, really going to unleash everything now.
Well, I mean, Josh McDaniels is still out there. I mean, he could always reunite with Josh McDaniels, although whatever. Again, I think that once the play call comes in and the ball is snapped, all the decisions come from the quarterback, and I thought that was a choice.
Well, we just don't know. We don't know we don't know. I mean, you have to go back and look, and then actually ask the players and ask the coaches, like, what were his read?
Right?
Which read was first? What were they trying to get it to the end zone? He got pressured, so that makes it a whole different ball game.
But it doesn't fit my narrative, Will. If I have to blame somebody not named
I think ultimately, Adam, that this was a game similar to the Lions and the Rams game from last weekend, in which it was a really, really good football game.
Yeah.
There were two teams and two quarterbacks who played pretty awesome football. There were a couple of key moments that were going to swing this game, and it's easy to focus in on those because everything else felt like it was operated pretty pristinely. You had the fumble from McCall Hardman, the DeMar Hamlin fake punt, and then the sort of the clock management there at the end by the Bills. I think that's the stuff that you focus in on in the same way like Sean McVay's clock management. Like one or two, but by and large, just an awesome football game. I expect we get a CBS press release at some point that talks about how good the ratings were.
Oh my gosh, 50 million people have watched that game. Will Brinson joining us as he does every Monday. All right, let's.
Be nice. I got a new contract coming up.
There you go.
Let's line the pockets, baby.
Let's talk about the other number one seed. Is it fair to say that for at least 3 quarters, maybe more, Green Bay was better than San Francisco?
Sure.
Didn't get quite enough out of that. I mean, they got enough. They should have won the game. But Jordan Love made 2 mistakes in the fourth quarter. The first gave San Francisco hope, and the second one ended the game.
Yeah. I think I look at this game and look at similar to the Baltimore game where maybe just a good reminder that when you sit out week 18 and then have a bye week, It's awesome because you get to rest everybody and you're healthy. But very clearly, like both the Ravens and the 49ers came out a little rusty. San Francisco got Green Bay's best shot. Jordan Love played awesome.
He did until the fourth.
Yeah, until the fourth. I mean, threw 2 picks, but 21-34, $194, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones has been running the ball great down the stretch. Green Bay could have easily won that game. The Lions would be hosting the NFC Championship game, which, good God. Can
you imagine Green Bay? Like, I joked before, the NFC North could be the best division in football next year.
Yeah.
I mean, my takeaway from the 49ers-Packers game is that Green Bay is going to be a headache.
Green Bay's the youngest roster in football by a significant margin.
How do you stop that receiving core?
Their average age is like 17.
I mean, they're all aren't they all first or second year receivers with Jordan Love?
I mean, Yeah. Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, the Melton kid from Ole Miss.
Yeah, the kid from UVA. I mean,
Musgrave, Christian Watson.
And they can
Watson run. Maybe third. No, Watson second year because he was a rookie last year with Tyler Kraft. Tucker Kraft, excuse me.
They are incredibly talented. Look,
it's hilarious. It's hilarious that they went out and spent all that draft capital on these young receivers who are going to might really blossom next year, like with Rodgers.
Look, it's Aaron Rodgers. Bless him with the Jets. It's pretty clear that Green Bay knew what they were doing when they drafted Jordan Love. You're taking a chance, but they saw a lot. I mean, honestly, when you watch him, he looks a lot like Aaron Rodgers when he plays. He does a lot.
Yeah, looks a lot like Favre and Rodgers.
Yeah,
it's insane.
He really does.
I mean, if you're a Packers fan,
you're feeling good.
You don't. Yeah, I guess. Like you don't. I mean, yeah, of course you're feeling good, but it's also like, dude, you're not someone who's lived the life of a football fan. You just had a quarterback your entire life. Like that's not what rooting for a football team is like. You're supposed to be. I mean, at least not according to what I've dealt with.
They had
supposed to be pain, suffering.
They did have to live with Dan Mikowski. They had to live with Dan Mikowski for a couple of years. Magic Man, he wasn't terrible. But man,
NC State did have Phillip Rivers, Mike Lennon, and Russell Wilson. So
there you go.
Kirby Brissett, Ryan Finley.
All right, so let's get to these two games. To me, Baltimore. Once the halftime rolled around, Baltimore just squashed Houston. They were dominant in the second half.
44 passing yards for C.J. Stroud in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, look. It was good.
That's pretty hard to do when you're down 24 points, man.
Yeah.
Like
that's how good Baltimore was, though. I mean, and we have to give them credit for that. Baltimore now will host Kansas City. Somehow, I think that the pressure just gets higher on the Ravens. Like it's not a relax. We won a playoff game.
Everybody wants to do that. I don't understand. Lamar's awesome.
He was awesome. He was tremendous.
He talked about it before the game. He's like, look, I understand this. Everyone's talking about it. I'm 1-3 in the playoffs. Everybody keeps bringing it up and keeps mentioning it. I get it. He goes 16-22, $152, 2 touchdowns, no picks, rushes for 100 yards and 11 carries for two more touchdowns. I don't think that it's not fair to ascribe additional pressure to Lamar. Like, all right, Lamar's got now. That's moving the goalpost. If we're saying now Lamar's got to beat the Chiefs or else. He's a playoff loser. He's performed the way he had to perform in a playoff game. Of course, it's the AFC Championship game. It's a huge game. Mm-hmm. To me, I don't view it as he's got to win or else we question this. I do view it though as, man, I mean, Mahomes is going in there. That's never great when you got to host Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Certainly. Yeah, I've been saying for weeks. I know I've been saying for weeks. What if the Chiefs flip the switch on offense and they're just good in the playoffs? And, well, lo and behold, here they are.
I'm still not buying it. I think Baltimore will win the game because I think Baltimore's defense will not allow a 2-receiver team to beat them.
Baltimore sat all their players in Week 18 and still finished in the top 5 all-time in historical DVOA for the season. Like, this is potentially if the Ravens could win the Super Bowl and – it would get the 1 seed, so I mean, like, it wouldn't be that shocking. But I mean, like, it really shouldn't be surprising that the Ravens are really good. I'm a little surprised that the Ravens are favored by 3 here. I haven't seen if it's moved up. It was -3, -122 when I went to bed. So yeah, still -3. I think that what's interesting about that is I would expect that everybody's betting the Chiefs there.
I don't know. I like the Ravens. I just think you pick a winner. Don't worry about covering the spread. Pick a winner. I like the Ravens to win that game. How do you look at San Francisco and Detroit?
Detroit's catching 6.5. Was 7 last night. Juiced up 6.5 for San Francisco. Feels like a bit much. Here's the thing about Detroit. They're going to be a heavy dog. They're a heavy underdog this week. 7 points, almost full touchdown. They're going to be a heavy underdog in the Super Bowl if they beat the 40, even if they beat the 49ers. Mm-hmm. They will be a big dog to the Chiefs or the Ravens. But there is one factor for the Lions that goes in their favor in terms of changing in terms of like making them live to be to upset somebody.
Okay.
And that's it's Dan Campbell. Because Dan Campbell on 4th and 3 from his own 20 will go for it. And Dan Campbell will go for it from, like he's going to kick field. Like he kicked a field goal early yesterday. I think it was like 4th and 9, maybe like the 5 or something like that. I mean, like he's going to kick the field goal in the spots, but like if you get a game or 2 games in this small sample size with these high variance, aggressive moves by Dan Campbell, AKA PC principle, where he's rolling the dice and going for it on 4th down and picking those up and converting those at a high rate just because like they have great play calls in, or the defense isn't ready for them, or they just get a little, like the variance swings wildly their way, they can beat anybody. So the secondary is a big problem for the Lions. I think that game probably a shootout, total 51. But I don't think the Lions will go quietly here. I like Detroit to potentially play the role of spoiler.
To win the game, would you take them outright on the money line, Will Brinson?
I'm thinking about it.
Okay, there we go. Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com, Pick Six podcast moderator, my friend. We just sorted the Saturday and Sunday pile together. There you go. Blast from the past. I'll talk to you on Monday, my friend.
All right, buddy. See you, man.
You got it. Will Brinson here on the Adam Gold Show.